Could the Seahawks have the best offense in the NFL? So I saw a tweet recently that really has me think. And it's a tweet by Nico Elite Takes. And what he said was that the Seattle Seahawks could have a serious shot at being the best offense in the NFL this season. Now, when I first saw the tweet, I kind of thought he was crazy because I'm a Seahawks fan and I'm a very optimistic Seahawks fan. And I honestly never even thought that they could be in contention for best offense in the NFL. But the more I thought about it, the more interesting of a situation it became. You see, the Seahawks have an elite wide receiver trio. If Jackson Smith and Jigba is anything like he was at Ohio State, the Seahawks easily, in my opinion, have the best receiver trio in the entire NFL. I think DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, and Jackson Smith and Jigba are three perfect complements of each other and are going to be able to attack defenses in much different ways. Also, as of last season, we now have a star running back in Kenneth Walker, and in the draft, we've got the thunder to his lightning in Zach Charbonnet. I think the passing and running game is going to be very balanced in terms of the personnel that we have on the field. Now, the offensive line is very interesting because last year we had two rookie tackles in Charles Cross and Abe Lucas, and they definitely showed potential last year, but there were games where they definitely struggled. But if they can take the leap forward that many people think they can take and they could be good tackles, this offensive line is actually shaping up pretty well in my opinion. But the biggest question mark to this offense is going to be the quarterback, Geno Smith. Geno had a really good season last year, but many people are wondering if that was just a flash in the pan, a one-hit wonder, or if he's here to stay to be a pretty damn good quarterback. Now, the one good thing about this offense is that Geno doesn't have to be elite. He has great weapons around him, and he doesn't need to carry the offense like some quarterbacks carry their offenses. He just needs to play at a good level and distribute the ball to the playmakers. So talent-wise, I think the Seahawks could be in the conversation for best offense in the NFL. Now, looking at their production from last season they were 12th in yards, 9th in both points and points per game. They were 11th in total touchdowns. So this is like a borderline top 10 unit in the NFL last season. And I do think they've made some improvements like JSN, Zach Charbonnet. I think the offensive line is going to get better. But to me, if you're going to argue that you're going to go from 10 to 1, you would really need everything across the board to get much better. One thing in particular that the Seahawks are going to have to do much better if they want to be the number one offense in the NFL, it's going to be third downs. Last year, the Seahawks were 20th in the NFL in third down conversion percentage. That is a pretty icky stat if you ask me. Now, obviously, that's something they're going to address in the offseason, and they're going to work to fix that. I think another thing that will help their offense is going to be their defense, actually. I think their defense last year put them in a lot of bad spots, and if the defense is able to hold their own a little bit more, it'll make life easier for Geno Smith in the offense. You know, they'll be playing the game at their pace, doing what they want to do, executing their game plan, and not having to resort to an alternative form because they're down or because they are so behind in time of possession. In my opinion, if you had to ask me if the Seahawks could be the best offense in the NFL next year, I would tell you no. The reason I tell you no is because I think the Seahawks are a top 5 unit, but to me, to be a number one offense in the NFL, you have to have a truly, truly elite quarterback. A Mahomes, a Burrow, a Jalen Hurts, a Josh Allen. And as optimistic as I am about Geno Smith, he's just not in that tier. Whatever way you want to slice it, he's just not in that tier. Now, I'm not saying the Seahawks can't be a top 5 offense. I think that would be an appropriate improvement from last season. But to shoot all the way up from like a borderline top 10 unit to number 1, to me is a little sketch, especially when you don't have one of those elite quarterbacks manning your roster. Another thing I will say, though, to be optimistic about the Seahawks is I do really, really like offensive coordinator Shane Waldron. I really like the play calling and the creativity that he brings to the Seahawks offense. And I think another offseason with Geno Smith will really help the Seahawks to learn what Geno's strengths are, what Shane's strengths are, and come up with an offense that combines the two seamlessly. So, I do think that the Seahawks will have a very good offense next season, barring that Geno Smith doesn't completely fall off a cliff. But I don't necessarily think that the Seahawks will have the best offense in the NFL. You can probably argue that they might be top 5, top 10. I don't think that they're going to be number 1, though. But I want you guys to let me know what you think down below. I want to hear your opinions, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Peace out. Don't forget to subscribe.